AOC. What? She's kind of fun in a silly but earnest, wrong but adorable way. She's like your daughter when she comes back from her first year at Brown, full of half-baked, half opinions, in need of some gentle, patient deprogramming. But people have to realize new faces doesn't mean new ideas. Drives me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea.
More and more I'm seeing people on the right offering like some praise for her, like, oh, don't count out AOC. And she's a fighter because she seems to have some of the same base as Trump, people who want an outsider. Wake up, people. Wake up. She was 100% on the side of Jordan Neely here, throwing out all the racism accusations and all that her woke identity politics playbook. She is no friend to reason. So stop, okay? Just stop. The praise of AOC has to end from anybody who wants justice, wants reason, wants sanity to prevail, and isn't on the side of woke identity.
Just when AOC thought her latest hot take would light up Twitter with claps and fire emojis, Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly showed up like party crashers armed with sarcasm and no mercy. Gutfeld roasted her like it was amateur night in the Senate, while Kelly broke down her argument with the focus of someone building IKEA furniture, blindfolded. Meanwhile, AOC got stuck mid-rant, tossing out buzzwords like a blender with no lid. So what did they say that turned her viral flex into a verbal collapse? Let's just say it was messier than Congress trying to agree on lunch.
It's me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea or issue in her life. The reason why she gets along with Bernie is because she's like an 80-year-old leftist in a used bookstore. I mean, she may look fresh, but she's as stale as an abandoned futon on the street. It's like, I listen to her, I go, I heard that at Berkeley in 1980.
AOC just walked straight into another rhetorical buzzsaw, rocking a tax the rich tee and sipping a $14 oat milk latte while explaining economics like she just opened a finance app for the first time. But this wasn't a debate. It was a self-inflicted PR meltdown. Gutfeld and Kelly didn't even need to go full volume. They just lit the fuse and let the green new deal melt on its own, like organic Jell-O left too long under a studio spotlight.
Let's check in on AOC and see what she has to say.
Any quick reaction on what's going on with Elon Musk and President Trump on Twitter right now?
Oh, man, the girls are fighting, aren't they? I think this breakup we've been seeing a long time coming, but we'll see what the impacts are of it legislatively.
Okay. You're so cool referring to them as the girls. She's above it all, Ben. That's what she's trying to telegraph. You see, she's the adult in the room, the one out there who does a preacher accent, and she leans into her fake Latina accent, and she's the adult in the room.
Let's not sugarcoat it. This wasn't a debate, a discussion, or even close to civil discourse. It was the political equivalent of bringing a spoon to a flamethrower fight. Somewhere near a Whole Foods in D.C., Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made a statement, and the shockwave reached two people with zero tolerance for economic fairy tales and even less patience for #activism disguised as policy.
It's no surprise. Who would go see a movie that's the opposite of entertaining? There's nothing entertaining about that. Michael Moore's colonoscopy is more entertaining than that because there's probably more twists. But it does show you how great it is to be a progressive in a liberal biased culture. She really doesn't do her job, right? She makes movies, she goes to galas, she sits for glossy butt-kissing interviews in GQ and other women's mags. Once you get over to the fact that you're hollow inside, it's not a bad life.
Gutfeld, bringing all the grace of a chainsaw at a yoga retreat, glanced at AOC's latest brainwave and treated it with the same seriousness most folks give a phishing email. Megyn Kelly rolled in armed with sarcasm, screen grabs, and the vibe of someone who's been stockpiling comebacks for every viral slogan dressed up as a revolution.
Their problem is, and the reason why they don't have any ideas is they operate on half opinions. Like, what if we get rid of cash bail? Oh, let's do it. What happens? You have repeat criminals wreaking havoc. What if we have sanctuary cities? Hey, let's do it. What happens? You have rapists and killers, finding sanctuary, safe haven. What if we give trans rights that we don't have? Well, you just ruin women's sports. You ruin safe spaces. You make kids' lives hell. But you don't think about, they never think about what their ideas incentivize. That would be nice. So where are their ideas going to come from?
It all began when AOC decided it was time to reinvent American success by canceling the concept entirely. Her latest proposal didn't resemble policy so much as a 2011 Tumblr post packed with slogans and missing substance. In her imagined utopia, the economy would thrive if the government managed it like a donation-based yoga studio. No need for drive, competition, or invention. AOC's ideal system is one big national group project where effort is optional, but everyone still walks away with a gold star.
A little bit of the New York Times review. And Teo, he thinks that the hopelessness of the movie makes it a hard sell for people who would go see the movie and also for voters to change their minds about climate change. But they said for AOC that she offers the best on-screen antidote to despair because she's funny. A canny political strategy, but they don't like it if conservatives are funny. Yeah. Right? It's only
that's
helpful
mean.
there. Right?
If a conservative is funny, that's mean. You're
right.
mean. You're being.
Gutfeld approached AOC's economic vision the way a scientist might analyze a crop circle, more amused than outraged, genuinely curious how someone could sound so sure while being that far off reality. The only explanation? AOC must operate in a dimension where rent is covered by vibes and inflation is just capitalist slander designed to kill your energy. Megyn Kelly didn't clap back. She simmered, armed with years of real-world grit and a bookshelf full of business journals. She didn't yell. She didn't have to. Her takedown was the verbal version of placing down her latte, fixing her cufflinks, and peeling AOC's argument apart with all the effort of unboxing a bad idea. The best part? Neither Gutfeld nor Kelly had to force the point. They simply held up reality, and AOC's logic did the rest.
Performance from AOC, who decided to go to the Bronx and pretend she was Cardi B.
Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to take this battle back? Are you ready to win on this fight?
You're not Cardi B. You're not Muhammad Ali. You're
Take her climate vision. For instance, the legendary Green New Deal, or as critics jokingly call it, the American Dream's exit strategy. It's less of a policy and more like a scrapbook of utopian doodles. AOC wants to erase fossil fuels while tossing in universal health care, free housing, and six-figure gigs, even for folks who'd rather nap than work. That's not legislation. It's a motivational poster scribbled in highlighter by someone who thinks Bitcoin grows on trees. Gutfeld didn't need a full monologue. He just circled the no airplanes clause and held up a U.S. map, asking, so how exactly do we get from L.A. to Honolulu teleportation? Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly calmly stepped in and reminded America that you can't power a modern economy with Canvas slides and hope. Socialism doesn't crash because of low morale. It crashes because math isn't a group activity. That's not strategy. It's a bake sale with no cookies.
Yeah, this is the reason why you can't even compromise with temporary solutions. Because even if you give a temporary solution to a lefty, they're going to make it permanent. There's no such thing as temporary, with whether it was mail-in ballots, or it's the moratorium. You give them and they go, oh, yeah, sure, and we'll get back to normal. No, they won't. Moratorium, they don't even know what that means. And we don't actually, I have to say, we don't talk about her at all. We talk about the stories, and we're always very, very respectful. I think she's incredibly talented, but she hasn't lived enough to be that arrogant.
Yet AOC keeps painting billionaires like medieval dragons lounging on gold piles, as if all that stands between us and a flawless society is a few angry speeches and a supercharged IRS. No talk of supply chains, fiscal reality, or how math works. Just unwavering belief that taxing the wealthy is the modern cure-all. Gutfeld nearly lost it laughing when she pitched yet another make the rich pay scheme, clearly aimed at folks who think the Laffer Curve is some theme park attraction next to Space Mountain. His clapback: if sky-high taxes solved everything, California would be a progressive utopia, not a bankrupt paradise of overpriced toast and policy chaos. But in AOC's world, pushback isn't rooted in logic or economics. It's always misogyny, bigotry, or the insult of the weak. Because when your plans wobble like a folding chair in a hurricane, blaming your critics beats admitting you brought blueprints written in sidewalk chalk.
This week, last week before the inauguration, AOC saying, I'm not going to the inauguration because I don't support rapists. That is a defamatory statement. She didn't make clear that's opinion. She said it as though it were a matter of fact. It isn't. And I really think he should give some serious thought to suing her. She wasn't on the legislative floor. She was sitting in her apartment doing a little Instagram. You can't get away with that. A term like he's a rapist or he's committing potential treason in working with the Russians, like news organizations have just, and politicians for that matter, given up all the guardrails that we...
Megyn Kelly didn't waste time entertaining AOC's usual dodges. She fed her talking points into a paper shredder labeled grown-up governance. According to Kelly, AOC spent more energy curating her personal brand than learning how Congress actually functions. This is the same lawmaker who once warned the world would end in 12 years, busted a move on TikTok, and blamed the weather on capitalism, all in the same breath. Now she's back with her latest pitch: a moral economy powered by forgiveness programs, identity panels, and vibes thick enough to fog a hearing room. Gutfeld, he just sat back and chuckled, because if your solution to every crisis is adding more bureaucracy, you're not leading, you're storyboarding a failed pilot. And yes, the cow flatulence saga lives on. Gutfeld joked about AOC fitting livestock with catalytic converters. It's ridiculous until you realize she might actually try it. Kelly ended with a zinger. Does AOC treat the Constitution like a to-do list or just a Pinterest quote? Because her politics read less like policy and more like a personality quiz gone rogue.
I heard that AOC, among others, were arrested last night. She truly is an American hero. It was brutal, taken out in cuffs. Well, technically, her shirt had cuffs. Maybe French cuffs, as she did surrender without fighting. But if her pants had cuffs, she would have pretended to be in leg irons too. But real handcuffs, not so much. But that didn't stop her from pretending. And I hate it when people do this to me. When I ask people to put on handcuffs and they say, I'll just pretend I have them on, I'd be like, sure, and I'll pretend to pay.
Gutfeld summed up AOC's economic vision as performance art with a soundtrack. And honestly, that's being polite. Her game plan goes something like this. 1, dig up a failed idea from the historical dumpster. 2, paint it millennial pink. 3, cry oppression when it crashes and burns. Megyn Kelly, with her trademark precision, pointed out that AOC treats emotion like a substitute for solutions, passion without progress like letting a golden retriever chair the Federal Reserve. Gutfeld didn't stop there. He compared her political rise to a flash sale, loud, trendy, and conveniently gone when reality demands a refund. Watching her toss out trillion-dollar proposals with the certainty of a drunk auctioneer, Gutfeld called it the best campaign ad for term limits we've got. AOC claims to champion the working class, but somehow her policies always feel like the rough draft of a campus scene. Kelly cut through that performance like a chainsaw through recycled cardboard. True reformers don't sell virtue while modeling for fashion spreads. AOC talks revolution, sure, but only if it's Instagrammable, ethically sourced, and arrives in biodegradable confetti.
True radical left, who's gone beyond all the identity issues. I mean, just don't get me wrong. The person I'm going to show you is 100% wrapped in all of them, but like genuinely believes the Hitler fascist stuff, like is distraught because they really think Hitler just got reelected. Most of them were just pretending, but then there are the ones who genuinely believe it, like AOC.
We are about to enter a political period that will have consequences for the rest of our lives. Donald Trump has talked about turning the military on U.S. citizens that he deems his domestic political enemies. Authoritarians and people that he affiliates closely with and strongmen abroad in regimes like that, it is not uncommon to jail political dissidents or legislative.
Gutfeld said it best. AOC isn't a threat because of her influence. She's a threat because people pretend she's influential. While she treats Congress like an open mic night for influencer auditions, the grown-ups are busy sweeping up the ideological confetti she leaves behind after every soundbite. And the kicker? Gutfeld and Kelly didn't even have to insult her. They just quoted her verbatim. That was enough to trigger a full-blown credibility collapse. AOC doesn't need critics. She's a self-lighting political fire hazard. Her resume reads like someone mistook a freshman seminar for a governing philosophy. Is she fired up? Absolutely. Focused? Not even close. Gutfeld joked about sending her a copy of Economics for Dummies, and Megyn Kelly chimed in, make it a collector's edition. One book per fantasy program. She invents between posting latte selfies and melting down over capitalism from her iPhone.
Talking, there, I'm picturing AOC lecturing us about our hamburgers, how we can't have them anymore, and we can't have heat in our homes. We can't have SUVs, and we can't, now the left wants us, we have to get rid of our gas stoves. It's a no. And so, they are very punitive. They want to control the way we live, of course, from their own private jets and mansions, which are, they're gas guzzling and energy guzzling by the minute. And he's feeling it. But I think this one goes beyond just the squad or leftist.
AOC's approach to politics feels like handing the cockpit keys of a jetliner to someone armed with crayons and a dream. She tosses out dramatic buzzwords like a motivational speaker at a college fair. Sounds deep until you pause and actually read them. Peel back the polish. And there's not much holding it up. Megyn Kelly didn't break a sweat. She calmly sliced through AOC's claims with the focus of a surgeon, revealing the fluff behind the facade. Gutfeld, meanwhile, skipped diplomacy and brought a blowtorch, mocking the irony of someone decrying capitalism while bathing in its perks. Her latest idea: seize control of what she doesn't grasp. Treat basic economics like an elective. And yet, her followers applaud like it's a TED Talk. But Kelly and Gutfeld weren't buying it. Slogans don't equal strategy. Feelings don't replace facts. And Instagram Live isn't governance. Strip away the filters. And what remains is a shaky brew of recycled ideology served with overconfidence. But AOC keeps going because when reality stings, there's always another reel, another headline, and